Welcome to the Power Panel Podcast Reflections. I am your host, Ambassador Raychelle Omamo. And on this first edition of Reflections, I have chosen to ponder on the wonderful, powerful leadership lessons that we have gleaned from our first three guests, namely Lorna Omondi Ogolla, Ottilia Maunganidze, and Rachel Akidi Okwir. You know, when you are an older leader like myself, you sometimes assume that you have all the answers, that you have all the knowledge, that you have all the ideas, and you have all the experience. But listening to these three women has humbled me. I have found that I have learned so much from them. And I think it's important for me on a program such as this to share that knowledge with you. So let's begin. Lesson 1, self-knowledge.
Genius exists in different forms. Mine isn't a natural brilliance of I just get everything quickly. My skill is pattern recognition.
And then I realized that indeed people do listen when I speak. I shouldn't just speak glibly because people will listen or they'll take on board some of the things that I say and run with it.
I think one of the most powerful attributes I have is empathy.
I told myself, never will anyone say of me that I did not show up with 110%. So I'm very energetic, enthusiastic, and apologetic about how I show up. I show up so fully. I always do things with all the energy in the world.
Being authentic is hard, I think, for most people. But once you get there, it's about really understanding who you are, being confident in who you are. And I know who Rachel is. I know Rachel's flaws. I know her weaknesses. And I just love being Rachel.
Self-knowledge goes beyond self-awareness. People often speak to young leaders about acquiring self-awareness. I think self-knowledge is a much more richer understanding of the self. It's understanding your power. It's understanding how to deploy it, to modulate it. It's understanding your genius. It's understanding your gifts. And not just the gift itself, its brighter side, its darker side. It's knowing how to fill your gaps. So the first lesson I think that we all need to learn as leaders is to know thyself. If you don't know yourself, then you'll never know who others are. You'll never be able to interact with others or to deploy your power in ways that will inspire them. Another thing about self-knowledge is that because you gain such a deep understanding of yourself, it leads to feelings of self-worth, of valuing your strengths. Because when you are aware of who you are in this deep sense, you begin to value your strengths, to focus on those things that propel you forward and not those things that draw you back. It builds your confidence and leads to authenticity and self-love. One of the things that Rachel stated so clearly in her episode was the necessity of authenticity. And we both agreed that authenticity arises from self-love. So know yourself, appreciate yourself, understand your values and your strengths, and then be authentic and appreciate and love yourself. Lesson 2, persistence.
For the things that did not come easy, I have just been known to be doggedly resilient, persistent. I really want to encourage people to not give up as after the first failure or as soon as you've seen your first rejection. There's a lot of good stuff on the other side of hanging in there.
And what I learned is, you just have to, continue to stay afloat, even when life throws, some crazy curveballs at you.
We often admire those who are persistent, those who are resilient, those who are steely in the face of adversity. For Lorna, the idea of resilience and persistence is grounded on forward motion. It's being proactive. It's having a bias to action. It's surmounting procrastination. It's journaling. It's setting goals. It's focused. It's being purposeful. And it's having this huge ambition. It's delivering tasks on time and with excellence. And it's not stopping, even when you're down.
Cry if you must, fall if you must, walk if you must, crawl if you must, but keep moving. Keep moving.
For Ottilia and Raychelle, they added a new perspective for me to this whole idea of being persistent. For them, persistence is also a manifestation of a kind of stillness that comes from listening, not only to yourself, but to others. When you listen, you can find a path to follow. You can move forward with others. You can face adversity through a collective power, a collective strength that comes from having benefited from the wisdom of others and from your own inner values. So therefore, from these wonderful guests, I have come to the conclusion that the basis of persistence is forward motion and confidence in self, combined with a listening that requires a stillness, a processing, an analysis of the world around you, and your openness to others.
So if, for example, you are pushing a message to say we need to be resolving a conflict, it requires you to humble yourself and to enter a room and to listen to the other side, even if you disagree with them.
And there's just something so powerful in listening to people and trying to understand their points of view, whether in the end you agree with them or you don't.
It's so very important to have an inner guidance system. I have a very big, strong relationship with God, and I seek His guidance, encouragement, approval, direction often.
As we take this short power break, we ask that you subscribe to the Power Panel podcast. Let's work together to expand the Power Panel community. Visit our website, birdsongafrica.com, and follow us on social media to plug into the Power Panel network. Email your thoughts to hello@birdsongafrica.com. This is the Power Panel podcast, Reflections. Lesson 3, Strength in Humility.
The one is the kind of work that we do also requires you to not be the center of that work, right? So to take a step back, as Comfort says, so to speak, ask the right questions, observe, be curious, be willing to learn, but also be willing to be wrong. I've learned not to assume that you're always right. I've learned to accept that there are certain things for which other people may have the solution or the right ideas, right? So just because you have been afforded the opportunity to lead doesn't mean that you can lead in all spaces.
Half the job is being intelligent, and then the other part of the job is being emotionally intelligent, so that you don't make an enemy out of them. You don't cause shame, you don't cause embarrassment. You're just being factual, but then you lead them back to a solution. So it's about both the intelligence to guide people back on the right path, and then the emotional awareness to not create enemies or shame or guilt, because you still need to work with these people.
The other thing was also respecting them, you rejecting their ideas with respect, because, in Africa, you have to respect your elders.
Humility is a rare commodity. It is hard to find within the realms of power and leadership. I'm therefore really grateful to Ottilia, Anna, Raychelle, and Lorna for providing me with new insights into what humility is. For Ottilia Anna, humility is about leading by grace. It's understanding that your leadership is a gift from others. It's understanding the limitations of your power and leadership. It's knowing when to stand back to let others shine. For Lorna, humility is about protecting the dignity of others, sparing others shame and embarrassment. And for Raychelle, it's walking in other people's shoes. It's having the courtesy to look at life through the lenses of others so that you're able to understand their perspective. Humility is critical when you are rising up the ranks. It's important when you're building teams. It helps you confront change and it builds trust. Humility is not weakness. Humility is strength. Lesson 4, self-care.
I have burnt out twice where I've just needed to take the whole month off. Don't talk to me, don't email me. I will not respond to anything because my brain was tired. It has needed a lot of awareness of my mental health and cognizance of when I have needed to take a break, to take a pivot, to pause.
I always say to people when people are saying some of the most outrageous things, I always say to them, go touch grass. Literally, I really enjoy being outdoors, and that allows me to center myself in ways that people cannot do.
And that's why it's really important, I think, as young leaders to find other sources of support, mentors, other peers at that level who might be working in different departments or even different organizations, and I think that was partly what helped me. I had some good mentors who were able to support me because you really don't have anyone to talk to. Because sometimes you want to vent and you cannot vent to your team. You cannot vent to your manager.
An African-American woman activist once said this: caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. That truth rings true today, especially due to the intensity and challenges of the workplace and this push to be successful 24/7. You have to take care of yourself because the workplace is taking a toll on you every day. It is for you to guard your physical and mental health. Remember, your business, your job will continue without you. Lesson 5, gratitude.
Many thanks to Suzanne, my life would have been very different without her and if I hadn't taken that shot. She walked with me through my whole MIT journey, and I have mentored for her and for our organization tens of girls since.
I enter into a room not only as Ottilia Anna, but Ottilia Anna Maunganidze of the Lion Clan, quite frankly.
So my elder sister, Susan, completed her A-levels before me, obviously. And then she sacrificed her university education because she started working to pay our fees. And I remember growing up and saying, I want the same for my younger siblings, but also I want to ensure that Susan at some point returns back to school and completes her university education. And she did, at some point, and she even now has an MBA, which is great.
I truly appreciate Lorna, Ottilia Anna, and Raychelle for reminding us about the essentiality of gratitude. We are all grateful for something. We all need to give thanks for something. Who has sacrificed for you to be where you are today? And who are you sacrificing for? Gratitude is a spiral of love. It is about passing goodwill to others. And it's about those who receive goodwill, passing it on to yet another person. Be grateful today and always. Gratitude is an expression of our love for each other. It is a reflection of this idea of Ubuntu. I am because you are. Women's leadership and power are things of stories. We thank Lorna, Ottilia, Anna, and Rachel for the important lessons derived from their experiences and their kindness in sharing them with us. I urge you to appropriate their wisdom. This takes us to our final lesson. Lesson 6. Learn from others, lead, rise, and share your stories. This is the Power Panel Podcast Reflections. Thank you for your company.